Yes, Imam Bukhari mentions the different versions and chains of the same hadith, which we refer to as mutaba'at, not for the purpose of reinforcement, but for the sake of knowledge in his work. One of the characteristics of Imam Bukhari is that he mentions a part of the hadith, which we refer to as an abbreviation. As we read, we will appreciate Imam Bukhari and his hadiths. So one day Imam Muslim comes and his student says,
دعني يا أمير المؤمنين في الحديث يا طبيب العلل في الحديث دعني أقبل رجليك.
O you, who are the healer of the hidden flaws in hadith, the commander of the believers in hadith, allow me to kiss your feet. The value that Imam Muslim, his student, places on Imam Bukhari is a shared value, one of our common values. From Indonesia to Morocco, from north to south. If a brother were to come to a gathering, what would a Muslim brother ask? What is being read? Sahih Bukhari is highly praised and appreciated. A person who has earned the appreciation and love of the Islamic community for 1200 years. A personality that Muslims unanimously agree upon among Islamic scholars. A personality that is appreciated even by critics and those who criticize. If someone criticizes Bukhari, at the end of the criticism they might say, well, I want to compile a select hadith book, a collection of selected hadiths. If you ask which book to choose from, I would say choose from Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari is a work that even those who dare to criticize, and those who criticize without knowing their limits, ultimately come to appreciate. Yes, we will read. We will strive to explain as much as we can. May my Lord grant us his pleasure. Bukhari gave the name El-Kami to this work. In the early period, there are works titled Kami. Muhammad ibn Rashid's reference to Sufyan al-Thawri's work, Al-Jami, means a work that includes very different subjects. In Imam Bukhari's book, we see hadiths in 8 different branches of knowledge. The first is faith, creed, and monotheism. When starting his book, the first chapter is titled The Beginning of Revelation, followed by the Book of Faith. He concludes the book with the concept of monotheism. It begins with faith and ends with faith. The second part is about acts of worship. It describes the acts of worship such as prayer, fasting, pilgrimage, and almsgiving. Then it covers transactions and penalties, including commercial and economic dealings. Following that, it narrates hadiths related to the interpretation of faith, hadiths of virtues and vices, hadiths of biography, jihad, and military campaigns, hadiths of asceticism, and hadiths of trials. It contains hadiths in 8 different branches of knowledge. If you compile the hadiths of Imam Bukhari related to the life of our Prophet, it becomes a beautiful book of biography. In fact, there are works written in this manner. In other words, if you were to present a work consisting of authentic hadiths related to the life of our Prophet, it would be as if Imam Bukhari is narrating all the events from the birth to the death of our Prophet. Imam Bukhari personally determines the chapter titles. He divides his work into main sections, which we refer to as books, and then into subsections, which we call chapters. And indeed, we see that 1200 years ago, Imam Bukhari transmitted the hadiths he deemed the most authentic, acceptable, and reliable, according to his ijtihad, in a magnificent order and system. If you ask whether there is an unauthentic hadith in the collection of Imam Bukhari, you would be revealing that you have never read any hadith. To be able to speak about this person who has meticulously selected and compiled thousands of hadiths with an extraordinary arrangement and performed 2 units of prayer while incorporating these hadiths truly requires great courage. We said he is not infallible, but there is immense care, immense attention, and diligence in Imam Bukhari. There have been hadith scholars who criticized Imam Bukhari, but even their criticisms highlight Imam Bukhari's superiority. Yes, it is a work that Islamic scholars admire as they read, "May my Lord grant us the intercession of Imam Bukhari." She was a righteous woman who was blessed to see Prophet Abraham. In her dream, Imam Bukhari was blind at a young age. His mother shed many tears, and she saw Prophet Abraham in her dream, and he gave her the good news. By the blessing of her prayers, my Lord opened her son's eyes. When she woke up, her son's eyes were open. Yes, why do we read noble hadith? Because we read noble hadith to have a sound belief. We read noble hadith in order to be a moderate, principled, and steadfast Muslim. We are between 2 types of superstitions: classical superstitions and modern superstitions. Some people are making every effort to distance us from the Quran and noble hadith, while others are trying to remove the love for noble hadith from our hearts by mixing authentic hadith with fabricated ones. Yes, I won't say moderate or mild, but to be a balanced, measured, and proper Muslim, we are in need of the sweetest interpretation and the most exceptional application of the glorious Quran, which are the noble hadiths. Among these noble hadiths, we will continue to read the most authentic ones, namely Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. We will read, understand, live by, and strive to implement with Allah's permission.